Oh my goodness, what a game. What a game. I'm not even that mad, honestly. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Wayne Lou. You are listening to the Raptors Reaction Podcast after the Raptors lose at the buzzer to Rui Hachimura, who knocks down a corner three thanks to an assist from LeBron after the Raptors initially threw a double team at Austin Reaves. Reaves got the ball quickly out the double. LeBron instantly fired a laser, one-handed, shoveled it right into the pocket pass, shooting pocket for Rui, and Rui knocks down the corner three after Brandon Ingram was desperately trying to get out there. But of course, he was guarding two guys at that time. And Raptors lose 123 to 120 in I mean, honestly, like that was a classic. That was such a good game. I honestly was just at certain times I was just kind of like chuckling to myself, like, damn, like this was a real pleasure to watch in person. And um yeah, like just wow. Lots of great plays in this one, lots of great performances. And the reason I'm not that mad is honestly, like, I know it's frustrating to lose at the buzzer like that. I know the Raptors certainly could have won this game. There's a couple of moments that we will regret. We can go through, crunch time, like literally right after this. But I think my overall thing is just like, yo, we just saw one of the best performances in the last decade by any player on the Raptors court in terms of visiting players, man. Like, shouts to Ryan Wolstadt for this stat, but most points in Toronto by an opponent in the last 7 years. Kevin Durant 51, which was I was at that one too. Raptors won in overtime of that one. But KD went for 51, Kawhi went for 37 in that one. Raptors win in overtime. Kyle with the big three. Tyrese Maxey 44, I believe that was in the playoffs, so I was at that one as well. Jordan Poole 43, I don't remember that at all, but that was also an impact there. But the reason why the Raptors lost this one is because Austin Reaves, 44 points. So he ties Tyrese Maxey as the second most points by any visitor to Scotiabank Arena in the last 7 years. And he's second literally to only Kevin Durant. Like, what? On the Warriors, no less. Kevin Durant on the Warriors. So, um, like, unbelievable game. Like, unbelievable. If you were one of the people that got a chance to go see this, like, I know you're probably a little bit pissed that the Raptors lost. And again, like, it was winnable at the end. It was anybody's game, and the Lakers, credit to them, made more plays. Literally one more play at the end there, but wow, just in terms of as a basketball fan, I was thrilled. I mean, lots of crazy things happened in this one. LeBron legit lost his 10-point streak, man. This guy had a 10-point streak going for over a decade, right? Everyone knows that, like, LeBron obviously is the all-time leading scorer at this point. But yeah, like, LeBron had like a 800 and how many 70 point, like, how many games in a row was it? Actually, intern Krem, can you please look up how many games in a row? No, hold on. It's this is a streak. LeBron has scored 10 or more points in 1,297 games. So, like, that must be going back to like when he was like 20 or 21 or something. But this is insane. This is one of like the most difficult streaks to break in the NBA, period. And the Raptors successfully held him to 8 points. But of course, LeBron being LeBron, he's going to go to the podium and say, I gave up that streak so I can get the game-winning assist. I don't care about stats. Bro, that was like, because he did make a pass into the corner to Rui, even though he was rolling to the basket against Emmanuel quickly. But I mean, again, just insane. Just an incredible game. And we can start with crunch time, obviously, because that's where it was sort of back and forth. The Raptors were just kind of knocking on the door, but they just couldn't fully get over the top. They had a really bad first half. The Raptors just could not defend at all. They just weren't meeting the physicality of the Lakers on defense either. The Lakers, even though they're, there's not a lot of strong individual defenders, but I got to give JJ Redick a lot of credit for sort of like piecing together a successful defense out of a team that isn't that great individually on defense. But they play smart. They played a lot of zone. They switched a ton. And they just got to like really slow the Raptors down in the first half. But the Raptors used a really great third quarter. I mean, Raptors scored 40 points in the third quarter again. This is like their fourth game this season where they've had 30 in the fourth quarter. But the only reason the Raptors weren't leading after their 40-point third quarter is because Austin Reaves by himself had 22 points in the third quarter to single-handedly keep the Lakers ahead. And then when he sat on the bench, the Raptors were trying to knock on the door. They're knocking that door, and there are a couple plays there that you really regret, like the Lakers getting 6 offensive rebounds in 2 minutes to start the fourth quarter. But ultimately, the Raptors did get ahead. And, it was a Jameson battle, corner 3 with a foot on the line. Even the replays, I wasn't even sure on the replay if the foot was on the line or not, but kind of a 50-50 kind of thing. But whatever, he gets the 2-point shot to drop, I guess, to put the Raptors ahead. And then a big swing in this game was the Raptors got a steal. They finally got a stop on Austin Reaves. Jamal Shed was able to get the strip, push on the break, and then drop the ball behind him to Mamu going up for a dunk. Mamu didn't really get much elevation on it, but it looked like he was right at the rim, and he just couldn't get it to drop. There was like a block on the play too, but looked like maybe a goaltend. Again, I would have loved to see a replay of that. Ultimately, that instead of the Raptors getting a bucket there, which it should have been, a 2-on-1 fast break, instead, the Lakers go the other way and knock down a 3. So that was a big swing in that moment too. But again, the Raptors kept punching, kept fighting. Even though the Lakers took the lead a little bit late, Raptors able to do some pretty good ball movement. A lot of nice passing sequences where Scottie was able to feed Mamu cutting around the basket. Mamu was involved in a couple plays there where he was able to get the buckets. So put the Raptors up, and the Raptors were up 2. With a chance to, extend that further. Raptors took way too long to execute. And honestly, this has been one of the things that has frustrated me. Yes, I know the Raptors want to go to Brandon Ingram and they want to get him off the screen like they usually do. But sometimes late in these games, the Raptors try to go to this play and it just takes forever for the play to develop, man. It takes whether it's too long for the screens to get loaded in the right positions, whether it takes too long for Brandon to get himself in the right position, whether it takes too long for the point guard. Usually Quickly is the one initiating this play. It just takes a long time. And ultimately, they got a nothing burger out of that play down the stretch. That one was pretty tough. Ingram had to heave from half court, didn't go in. There's another play where Jamal took a really quick corner 3 over DeAndre Ayton. And I understand Jamal was on the floor mostly for his defense against Reaves because he's their best on-ball defender. And, Reaves, again, was having an all-time game, really. But I still don't think that, especially the way Jamal's been shooting the 3 of late, he's been really cold. He's not been hitting the 3 much in this game at all. Shooting a random corner 3 over a 7-footer is just not a good decision. It doesn't really matter. That's not a good decision. So that was a regrettable play. And then, of course, another regrettable play was the Raptors, again, were leading by 2, and the Lakers had 2 timeouts. The Raptors had 2 timeouts. The Lakers had the ball. And LeBron was so tired, he legit just went to the bench, and it looked like they were going to call a timeout. But Reaves, being the smart guy that he is, kept the ball alive, kept pushing the break, and kind of almost did an Andre Miller thing. Andre Miller back in the day used to have this move where he would, as a point guard, he would bring the ball up and then dribble towards his coach. Looked like he was going to signal for the timeout, kind of pump fake the timeout, and then blow by his man sneakily and go in for the layup when the defense unsuspected. This one, he doesn't actually go over to JJ Redick as the coach, but he just kept going, even though it looked like the Lakers were going to stop the play. And even though the Raptors had 4 guys back, the Raptors sagged off of Reaves and allowed him to literally walk in for a layup, contesting way too late at that time. So that was the play that actually got it tied at 120. And then the Raptors had the ball. They gave it to Ingram. Now he's got a mismatch on in Ayton, and I got to give Ayton credit. Honestly, Ayton's been taking a lot of shit in the last couple of years, and maybe rightfully so. He's a pretty disappointing number 1 overall pick, but he's been really good as a Laker, man. And I thought he was really effective tonight, playing in his role, being around the basket. He caught a million lobs again from Reaves. And then he was also really good on defense, really impactful. But this one, he switched out on an island against Brandon Ingram. Brandon tries to take him off the dribble, which is, I think, the right move to do. Gets past him. There is a bump at the rim. I mean, you could call that a foul. You might not have called that a foul. Honestly, if Austin Reaves made that play, they definitely would have called that a foul. But they didn't call the foul. And instead, the Raptors have to guard the last possession. Again, the Lakers, even though they have 2 timeouts, choose not to call the timeout. They, initiate, obviously, give the ball to Reaves on, the one side of the floor. The Raptors decide to just blind double. And honestly, it's literally 4 seconds left in the game, right? It's, so Scottie abandons LeBron to come over to double Reaves. Reaves, to his credit, makes a great pass out of the double team, early, quick, snapped on it as well, bounced it to LeBron. And then LeBron caught it on the move and instantly whipped it into the corner to Rui after making a play towards the basket. And Rui, to his credit, I mean, pretty contested, but nevertheless, feet set and knocked down the corner 3 and huge celebrations. They went to review, but the play was good, and ultimately the Raptors lose at the buzzer. I know this is a game we all would have wanted. We would be here celebrating like crazy if the Raptors won this game, even if they went to overtime. You definitely wonder with how tired the Lakers looked, and they had a couple guys who fouled out. Could the Raptors have pulled it out at the end there? I felt like the Raptors had more to give, but ultimately, like when I'm describing this back, there are a lot of mistakes in that stretch. And that's the thing. It's like for a young Raptors team, like it's very exciting that we're good. It's very exciting that a lot of guys have taken jumps. I mean, Scottie Barnes, my word, he is so good, and he has made so many good plays in this game. I thought that the additions to this team in Brandon Ingram and Sandro Mamukelashvili were all playing really well in this one. Although Sandro did have a couple of misplays, but also had some pretty important crunch time baskets as well. But like the Raptors additions have gone well. The Raptors system is going great. Like, clearly the Raptors are in a position where they can even compete with the Lakers for the first time in a long, long time. But still, this is still a young team that makes mistakes. And when you look down the stretch, the Raptors have to get better in terms of how they execute in crunch time, both on offense and on defense. Now, of course, offensively, like I said, there's some of these plays, especially the one that they call for Brandon coming off a curl off the ball. I understand they want to give him the curl to maybe get the switch, maybe get even an advantage. Like, that's a great play over the course of, there's plays that you call for the first 42 minutes, and then there's last 6-minute plays, right? Over the 42 minutes, I love Brandon curling off a corner. You know what I mean? It's great. In crunch time, there's more grabbing, there's more holding. Everyone's more tired. The defenses have seen this play a million times. Referees aren't likely to call that off-ball contact. That takes forever to execute. And you can point to a lot of games recently where in crunch time, they just take too long to get it to him. It's not like a bad shot at all. In fact, Ingram actually gave the Raptors that brief lead at 120 to 118 after he got a mid-range jumper to fall, right? That was him playing a two-man game with Mamu and got an open mid-range jumper. But there's execution mistakes. And I think for a lot of young guys, like I think Jamal's going to be frustrated like hell at himself because there's a couple plays that he should have made, but he couldn't make. You know what I mean? And that corner three, that was just unnecessary. You never see Jamal eager to shoot. I don't know why he shot that corner three. The shot clock wasn't dying or anything. Like you have Ayton on you. That's still not good. I mean, Jamal's like my height and Ayton's 7 feet tall. So like trying to shoot over that is not a good idea. But in any case, like, This is the stuff that a young team needs to learn. And I think for the Raptors, what we've seen in the last couple of losses, and the Raptors obviously have lost, by the way, this Raptors playing a back-to-back again. First game of the back-to-back, they lose at the buzzer. It's basically what happened against the Hornets a week ago. And by the way, the Raptors somehow playing the Hornets again tomorrow. So we'll see sort of what happens there. Hopefully the Raptors are able to match up. But honestly, the Raptors have been bitten hard by the Hornets in 2 games, right? But like, having to execute in crunch time and making the right play, and that's the thing that's really impressive with the Lakers, right? Like when it came down to crunch time for them, yes, they knew where to get it to, right? Reaves with the wherewithal to like outthink the whole team and just go in for a quick layup. That was important to tie the game. And then, of course, their defense to be able to like get the stops down the stretch was huge. And then, of course, you look at it. Okay, Reaves gets a double team thrown at him. He has 44 points. He has all the right in the world to try to take that shot and whatever. LeBron has all the right in the world to take that shot. He's literally LeBron. But they make the right play, snap, and then boom, they get a corner three. Like, that's the type of stuff where for the Raptors, they need to get better at this. And they need to like legitimately learn and go through some of these, like honestly, I do think you learn the most when you are bitten and you make the mistakes. So I know that's probably more optimistic than people probably would have expected. They probably wanted me to come on here and sort of yell at the team. I'm not going to yell at the team. This is like, I'm very, very proud of how the Raptors played. Like the way Reaves played tonight, I know there was no Luka. This guy did the work for him and Luka. Like it was crazy. Like this was like one of the best games I've seen anybody play at Scotiabank Arena. Like anybody, visiting player, home player, whatever. Like this was absurd, especially that third quarter where Reaves was shooting 40-foot pull-up threes. He was getting to the basket, drawing fouls. The footwork was crazy. He had one play where he got CMB on an island and took the bump and just like legit threw it up like with one hand from his like hip, and it was above the free throw line, and he somehow banked it in for the and one. 22 points in the third quarter alone. But the pick and roll agony in the all game, like literally from start to finish, it was. I think the first play of the game was probably Reaves going for 3. Like. All game long, this guy was cooking. Like the Raptors threw everything at him. Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed. I know these guys are young guys in the grand scheme of things. They're nobody's in the NBA yet, but man, they're some of the Raptors' best on-ball defenders. I would argue their best 2 on-ball defenders, and they just got absolutely torched. Like it was incredible to sort of watch this performance. And of course, yes, the Raptors, they put a lot of they gave LeBron their respect, right? They still doubled LeBron at times. They still kept Scottie on LeBron. I thought one thing that the Raptors could have done, was because over the course of the game, the main threat was Reaves working the pick and roll with Ayton. I thought honestly, the Raptors And look, the Raptors didn't have Jakob Poeltl. I don't think Jakob Poeltl would have made that big of a difference, especially defensively in this one. But in any case, like they were playing that pick and roll game where Reaves was getting Ayton into the screen and bringing Sandro Mamukelashvili, who was guarding Ayton in that screen. I thought honestly they were running that play so much. I would have loved to see Scottie switch on to Ayton, and then sort of like at least be able to switch a little bit because Reaves was just killing them. Like legit, it was a pick and roll like masterclass. This is like what Steve Nash might have done. Do you know what I mean? Like it was that good to watch. But at the same time, like the Raptors, it didn't help that they were allowing one of their weakest defenders to consistently brought into the screen. Now, granted, I thought Sandro probably could have played a little bit better. Sometimes he was dropping. Like you can't drop. You just can't drop. Like I understand that if you want to play drop, you maybe want to contain Reaves on the drive, and then Reaves was still throwing that little floater over the top to Ayton, who was just tapping it in. Like there's nobody even around the vicinity. Like the one time somebody tried to get in there, Scottie gave him an and one, trying to contest at the rim. Like obviously Ayton's just too big, and honestly, Reaves' ball handling and his passing was just precise enough to sort of feed it in every single time. So again, like what can you do? Like great offense beats good defense every single time. But nevertheless, I would have loved to see a couple of different coverages. And then look, the Raptors did try a lot of different things. I'm not trying to say they didn't. There were certain times where Scottie would, basically freestyle, and you call it basically like, the Lakers obviously give Reaves the ball at the top, and then Reaves will sort of decide who to bring up on the screen. And then whoever was coming up on the screen, Scottie would take that man, and, the person that Scottie's switching onto, the Raptors would then pick up and scramble behind him to sort of pick up that assignment, basically to bring Scottie into the pick and roll to defend, like I'm sort of describing in general. So they did try some of that stuff too, but man, again, like offensively, it was just too damn good. It was honestly just too damn good. Raptors played well enough offensively to beat most teams. Like again, like the Lakers are one of the top, 5 or 6 teams in the NBA too, and they were in need of a bounce back performance after they got blown out in Phoenix. There was no Luka, but they still played really tough. And this is why I was like really impressed with just in general, the quality of this game. Cause you might look at it as, okay, the Raptors should win this. There's no Luka, even to a lesser degree, there's no Marcus Smart. But like the Raptors like played a good game, like good enough. Like there were a lot of good ball movement. In this one, like the Raptors typically do. Scottie played a fantastic game. I mean, Scottie always plays great against the Lakers. Even going back to his rookie year, I remember Scottie started a game like 8 for 8 from the field, like 17 points in the first quarter. Raptors ultimately lost that game, by the way. Russell Westbrook hit a crazy buzzer beater to force overtime, I believe. But in any case, like Scottie played a fantastic game. I mean, he made some great plays. The block on LeBron late to prevent him from getting 10 points was huge. Like, the fact that he held LeBron to 8 points, like when we look back on this game, like, yes, the Raptors lost, but like when you look back on, if you want to give Scottie Barnes a case for, all defensive team or even defensive player of the year, what is a better leaf in your hat or a better, like, what did they call that? I don't even know what that expression, what's a better point to put on your resume than the fact that you are the first person in 1,297 games of LeBron James's legendary career to hold him under 10 points. Like that is crazy, man. Like that's actually a stat that we should be putting out there when it's time to like push Scottie for All-Star and push Scottie for all these awards that he deserves, because it was incredible. And of course, LeBron's in a reduced age. Like I've never seen LeBron block this much. LeBron, by my count, again, not even just looking back at the box score, but LeBron got blocked by Collin Murray-Boyles. LeBron got blocked by Sandro Mamukelashvili. He got blocked by Scottie Barnes. I think he might have got blocked by Jacoby Walter at one point. Like, obviously, this is a diminished version of LeBron, who's 41 and he's got sciatica, whatever, right? But, bro, this is crazy. This was actually a crazy defensive performance from Scottie Barnes, in addition to how good he was on offense, because he's, again, he's also the Raptors' best player on offense in this one. His ability to connect the passes, and he was 1 assist shy of a triple-double tonight, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, like in 36 minutes. Like he was sensational, and in the way he was able to outthink the Lakers defense. Again, the Lakers threw a lot of junk at the Raptors. JJ kind of, honestly, a little Nick Nursian in terms of how creative he is defensively, kind of just like making it work. Because like you look at the team, they shouldn't even be good defensively, right? You got Reaves, Vincent, Hachimura, I feel like is just average. Laravia, Jackson Hayes, Nick Smith, like even DeAndre Ayton, like LeBron at this old age, like doesn't really scream great defensive effort, but they were able to switch and just like make a lot of like decisions for the Raptors where they had to really outthink. But no one's better at outthinking the defense on the Raptors than Scottie. Like, I thought his movement was great. He was hitting huge threes to sort of, again, like, he's been confidently knocking down these threes. He was 2 of 5 from 3 tonight. He hit from the mid-range. He had a 9-0 run personally in the third quarter to sort of spark the Raptors, who again had 40 in the third quarter. Scottie pushed and started that whole thing. Like, there were just so many great plays. And I know Brandon only shot 10 of 23 for 20 points, which is inefficient, but there were a couple foul calls I feel like he probably could have gone, but even he played well offensively in terms of the 7 assists as well to go along with his 20 points. I think even defensively he had a couple of moments. He had a big block as well in that stretch. Sandro filling in. I know he had a tough start and defensively he got roasted, but he still made a lot of big plays, man. A lot of big plays, especially down the stretch there. Again, not panicking, because I judge not only like, okay, your scoring is your scoring, whatever, but when do you do that? And in the tough moments, how do you handle yourself? And I thought he coped well in some of those key plays there where he was able to, just move and cut and get guys open. Jacoby probably played his best game of the season. I know Jacoby, look, Jacoby will never, I don't know if he'll say this, but like, yeah, I mean, he was like growing up, like obviously he watched a lot of teams. Like, he was a huge fan of Kawhi. His favorite player growing up was Kawhi. And he actually told me that in an interview that we did with Jacoby one-on-one in preseason. But I think on draft day, part of the reason Jacoby was wearing purple, not just because he was getting drafted by the Raptors, I think there was a real expectation he might go to the Lakers. And the Lakers obviously did have one of the picks just before Toronto's pick at 19. And ultimately the Lakers saw that Dalton Connect had slid. Connect was like supposed to be a top 7 pick player, maybe even higher than that, but he just kept sliding. And so the Lakers ultimately scooped him up for the shooting and whatever. They also tried to trade him, by the way, last year for Mark Williams, which obviously got declined. But yeah, I think Jacoby partially wore purple because he may have gone, obviously, to play for the Lakers. And I thought the determination of Jacoby tonight was great. I mean, offensively, this was his best game. 17 points, 6 of 10 shooting from the field, super confident from the threes, cutting in for layups and dunks, active around the glass. Like, I thought he just did a really good job. Now, defensively, he probably could have did a little bit better. It's usually the other way around, where I think his offense is a little quiet and I think his defense is really good. But I thought Reaves really got the best of him at certain points, and he lost him a few too many times. And that's probably the reason why Walter wasn't picked to close the game and Jamal was closing ahead of him. But I mean, either way, neither guy was really impacting Reaves all that much, but it did feel like Walter was getting cooked a little bit more. But he played really well. And again, for the sophomore player, like, I thought this was like a really strong performance from him. CMB off the bench. CMB was awesome in the first quarter. Awesome. Blocking LeBron. That's got to be a core memory. Like, seriously, like when he thinks back, everyone talks about the welcome to the NBA moment in terms of how you got embarrassed. That's got to be one of the coolest, like, when he looks back on his first month and a half of being a professional NBA player, he's going to remember a couple of things, like how he scored on Wemby, how he took it to Evan Mobley, the defensive player of the year, how he, pushed around Jaren Jackson Jr., and then, of course, he's going to think about this one where he blocked LeBron James. Like, and again, like, it doesn't matter what age LeBron is. That's still LeBron, man. You got to think, these kids growing up, like, I mean, LeBron's played longer than Collin's been alive. Collin's probably played, like, 5 or 6 iterations of 2K playing as LeBron. Like, this is like, TSN just did a segment where they sort of compared, like, who's the greatest player, basically. And, like, half the team said LeBron James, especially the older guys. Of course, you got Garrett Temple, you got unks like that. We were like, oh, yeah, Michael Jordan. I think, a couple other guys said Michael as well, but, 1 or 2 votes for Kobe. But, like, half the team said it's LeBron. So you got to understand how big of a matchup this is, no matter what sort of status LeBron's in. LeBron might be Wizards, Jordan, but that's still Jordan, to them. And I thought CMB played great, knocked down the 2-3, super confident. Like, I mean, I didn't see much of him in the second half. I think that was maybe a bit of a misplay. Like, they should have played bigger and kept Collin on the floor. That I think for Darko, especially in the start of that fourth quarter, like, yes, the Raptors needed shooting, but the Raptors didn't have any issues scoring, I felt like, in this one. It's in the second half. They needed more defense and physicality, and I thought, Collin's presence was largely missed in the second half. But, and then Jamison Battle coming in. I mean, Mobo got a chance to play a little bit. Mobo's been hooping with the 905. 905, salute to them. They're 9-0 now. Mobo had a great game last night with like 7 steals, whatever. But, I mean, that's like, okay, he played well. Now you got a chance to come in and redeem yourself. You got 5 minutes, do something. Didn't really do something. But Jamison Battle coming in, knocking down a corner 3. Really should be 2 corner 3s because the other one had a foot on the line, but, ultimately whatever. But a couple cuts to the basket as well. I think he had like 8 points in the fourth quarter alone. Like, that was huge. And, he continues to be that guy where he's never the first option. He's never the second option. But he's the break of a cage of emergency option, and he's there for you. You know what I mean? He was awesome in terms as a finisher. Now, granted, I think defensively could have been a little bit better, but like, again, you could probably say that for a lot of guys on the team. Like the Raptors played really well, and of course, don't forget they didn't have Jakob Poeltl, who they continue to rest on back-to-backs. So they've opted to have him play against the Hornets instead. The Hornets obviously have lots of size, and they've given the Raptors lots of issues. Obviously, look at the last time the Raptors played the Hornets. And of course, RJ continues to be absent. That's nothing compared to Luka being out for the other side. But like for a young Raptors team, like I'm proud of this team. Like they fought really hard. They played a crazy entertaining game. They battled, and ultimately the Lakers won in crunch time. Like that's not really a surprise, to be honest. I mean, in terms of just the Lakers being more experienced, I mean they're a playoff team. They should be a championship contender. Like the Lakers look really good. Like I'm like I know the Lakers have been like they always get oversold and overhyped. So there's always sort of this like I guess like a knee-jerk reaction to anything pro-Lakers. They're always like, oh, this is like an agenda, conspiracy. I saw a lot of people being like, oh, they got a lot of foul calls. I mean, whatever, they did. But like I was watching this game. I'm like, damn, number one, like JJ got these guys competing hard defensively. Like the Raptors had to play excellent offensively in the second half to make this a good offensive game, because ultimately the Lakers did a great job, like just like throwing junk at the team, and they're very, very creative. They're also very smart as well. And honestly, credit to sort of like the plays by Reaves on the defensive end too, because I mean I've been talking about how great Reaves was. This guy also took 2 charges down the stretch. I mean, again, those are things that the Raptors need to execute better. Mamu decided to do a Euro step. Like, nah, man, just you're either driving hard to the basket or you're gonna stop for a little push shot, right? You're like trying to do a Euro step, like in that tight of a quarter, especially against Reaves, who is a great like charge taker. Like, that's not a good idea. And then Brandon Ingram getting missing from 3, which he just could not hit from 3 whatsoever. That was the main reason he was inefficient today. But getting his own rebound, trying to go in, and then Reaves again stands in for a charge where Ingram sort of got his elbow up and kind of clipped him on the chin. Like those are pretty key plays down the stretch, and I think the Raptors needed to be better on some of those things. But ultimately, like, man, like I was really impressed with the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like again, I think Ayton has just really even the butt of jokes for a long time, and some of that's deserved. Like you missing work because you had an icy driveway, like that wouldn't even work at your regular 9-to-5 job as compared to like you're working in the NBA. Like, come on, man. Getting traded to Portland, not being wanted in Phoenix, getting bought out because Portland wanted young Hansen to be like their center of the future and Donovan Clingan. So they're like, we don't even want Ayton. Just leave. Just literally just dip. And the Lakers are like, cool, we got Ayton. And I know people are like, oh, Ayton, you're going to be frustrated. Ayton, you're going to be frustrated. No, man, Ayton's been good. Ayton's been good. He's playing his role. He's being physical on screens. He's getting to the basket. He's catching lobs. On defense, I feel like he's moving his feet. He's rebounding the ball. Like, this is all you really want from Ayton, especially because if you're no longer looking at him on the number 1 pick, all that kind of stuff. I think he's been playing his role well. Jake LaRavia, I think he's like really physical, and he pushed the Raptors around. He was a part of the reason why the Lakers were up in the first half was Reaves was cooking, but like there was just a lot of physicality battles won by the Lakers. And again, this is another thing I keep going back to is when we look at the Raptors' losses, you get to learn more about the team. Common theme in the Raptors' losses is they get pushed around. Physicality battle-wise, we need to get tougher, we need to get bigger, and they need to be mentally sharper in some of these plays. Because sometimes it's not even just being outsmart, like out-muscled. He's also getting outsmarted at certain points. So, but that's good. Again, I know that it sucks to lose, but it's very, very important for a young team to learn these lessons. And that way we can identify sort of what they need to improve on, both internally or externally by bringing in different pieces. But yeah, like I thought, but again, like I just thought the Lakers played really well. Reaves obviously taking it to another level. Like he's basically Jalen Brunson, but as a right-handed player. Like, and I know it's like Brunson. It's so funny because ironically, Brunson obviously broke out when he was with the Mavs with Luka. And now you have a similar situation where Luka's obviously there, but his sidekick is another guy who can go off for 30, like no problem by himself. But the point, like the pick and roll mastery for him, the range, the ability to draw fouls, the like a small guard who plays tough. I mean, on both ends too, because Brunson also takes a lot of charges, similar to Reaves, where Reaves taking the charges as well. The ability to sort of keep your dribble alive in traffic. To play tough through contact, knows how to draw contact. Obviously, it was very frustrating today seeing Reaves got all those free throws, but I mean, he was getting fouled a lot. The footwork for a guard. I mean, everyone talks about footwork for these guards, and that's why everyone admires Brunson. I mean, part of the reason why people admire Shea as well. These guys have amazing footwork. like Reaves is right there with them. Like it's really, really impressive. He doesn't have the athleticism of some of these other guys, but he has more range than the other guys too. Like, man, like I was just so impressed. And again, like the LeBron had 8 points. Like we legit snapped a decade plus streak, and they still scored 123. Like, and that's without Luka. Like, so I got to give the Lakers a lot of credit. Like I was like everyone else, I'm always a little skeptical on the Lakers going into the season because it feels like they always get overhyped, but I feel like they're almost underhyped. Like the Lakers should be a bigger story than they are, man. Lakers are really, really, really impressive this season. So Raptors played a great game. They ultimately lost at the buzzer. Again, Rui, I mean, the guy hit the game winner. No one even talks about him. He made a couple big plays, but obviously the biggest play was the 3. So I'm just like, I feel exhilarated. Like this was a really, really fun game, and hopefully we can get to some questions after a word from our beloved sponsor. Stay tuned.
This segment is presented by Table Fare and Social. Get your pregame bites and after-work drinks at Table. It's at a great location right across the street from Scotiabank Arena and just steps away from Union Station and the Metrolinx bus terminal. Will, what are we having at Table Fare and Social?
Well, they got one of our favorites in the city, Alouette.
Ooh.
And of course, Alouette. Incredible food.
The wedge salad?
The wedge salad, exactly. Imagine you're about to watch a Raptors game, you're about to watch a Leafs game, you're about to catch a concert at Scotiabank, and beforehand, we get together, get a couple of drinks at Alouette, get that salad. We're ready for anything, man.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of options at Table Fare and Social. This is your go-to spot. Next time you're off to a game, check out Table Fare and Social, a downtown food hall right across from the arena for some great pregame bites and drinks.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to your questions, and big shouts to our intern Karem, who has been going through the chat and faving some of your comments. Continue to leave questions in the chat. We'll be taking a couple of them, but yeah, let's start with the free throw games. Yeah, sure. I know there's always a conversation when you see a Raptor game, or not just a Raptor game, but even a Laker game actually. But the question is, what are your thoughts on Reaves getting 15 free throws and Ingram 0 and Barnes 5? Are the Raptors playing aggressive defense on Reaves? Yes, the Raptors were playing aggressive defense on Reaves. The Raptors were also fouling Reaves on threes, which was really regrettable. I think they gave him 6 free throws just on threes alone. Jacoby Walter being guilty of that. Some of the plays that just weren't really particularly smart too, like Jamal Shead going for a steal on Reaves in the front court late in the game. Like that's actually, honestly, for a guy who's been really solid for all year, I was really like taken aback by Jamal's decision making down the stretch. Like he felt like he was on edge, even though like there was no need to be. He was like maybe the 9th most important person on the court at that point. Like he just ended up making some gambles that I just didn't really quite understand. But yeah, I mean, look, Reaves, like, I think drawing fouls is like an actual skill, and there's like a real thing involved in it. Obviously, there are certain players that seek out the free throw more than others. We saw one obviously in Toronto and in DeMar DeRozan. There's obviously lots of examples that are across the league, but there's like the footwork, the way you're able to put guys off balance. And then, of course, the thing is, like, when you put guys off balance, like, guys are able to still, they're still entitled to the same vertical shooting space, right? So you put someone off balance, but then when the guy goes from like a leaning back position and they're suddenly shooting forward, like it does look like foul baiting. There's a couple plays where certainly like you get frustrated, but honestly, like the Raptors just weren't. The one that I think was probably the most frustrating was where CMB was literally just standing there like this, and somehow like hands straight up, and that called us a foul, but. I mean, trust me, like, I love complaining about referees and stuff like that. I didn't really see it was that bad. I mean, Reaves was the only guy getting free throws on the other end. LeBron wasn't even getting calls. That's part of why LeBron shot. Wow, LeBron was 4 of 17. Damn. But LeBron didn't even get a free throw. And LeBron was going to the basket a lot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, it was 26 free throws for the Lakers, 21 for the Raptors. Like, I think the big difference there was really just the Raptors fouled the Lakers for 3 a lot, which is always going to give you more free throws. So honestly, like I would be the first to come in here and jump on the free throws, but like, yeah, like that's not why we lost this game. Next one, the Brandon Ingram ISOs just killed us. I know what he does, man, but the ball just sticks and the offense dies. Look, I think this is like a common theme. Again, like the offense does get too stagnant. One thing with with Brandon is I just don't really feel like he's getting to his spots. So I think he's ultra efficient and very effective when he can get to his spots. And everyone knows where the spots are, right? Basically just like free throw line, elbows, like those are the spots. And if he gets there, he's money. I'm happy with him taking any shot basically from there as long as he's not like, double teamed or something, right? But the thing is, how does he get to that spot? Now, over the course of the game, he's typically getting to that spot off of curls, off of screens where, he starts off in the corner, someone, screens for him off the ball. He gets into that mid-range area, catches it there with the entry pass, and then he goes to work from there. Like that's kind of all good, right? My thing is when he's attacking with a live dribble from above the 3-point line right now, and I don't know if this improves over the course of the season because, how much of this is still him recovering from last year. I mean, he's been playing no problems, so like I imagine it's not that, but how much is he able to still get to his spots and how to get to an efficient shot? Tonight, part of the reason why for Brandon just was a bad game was he just couldn't get the threes to drop. Like these are wide open threes that he was getting, and he just couldn't get them. Everything felt like short and stuff like that. So, the 3-point shot, he's definitely a more capable 3-point shooter than he's shown so far in Toronto. He's usually around 35, 36%. Right now he's in the low 30s, if that. I mean, tonight 0 of 6 from 3. And again, on open shots, not even like these are like hard pull-up threes. But the more concerning thing to me is off the live dribble, can he come off a screen or can he go one-on-one and get to a spot and get the separation and pop? Now, of course, he obviously hit that against Pascal for the game winner against the Pacers. We all remember that play. It was great. But there is a lot of like time invested in that. And honestly, my concern isn't necessarily, look, if he can take his time but get to a spot and shoot it, I'm not even worried about that. I feel like a lot of times he's not getting to the spot. The physicality, the bumps, whatever, even the handle, like people are kind of disrupting him in ways that like don't really feel that great. So I think my thing is, look, I want Brandon to be involved late game offense, like clearly, right? But they need to do a better job of getting him into that position where they give him the off-ball screen and he gets to catch, right? And if they can't get that, they need to pivot off that immediately. The thing that really hurts is when they force it, and they ultimately just basically say, okay, Brandon, you're getting the ball at the top from like 40 feet out, and you got to create off the live dribble, and there's only 5 seconds left. That's a bad position for anybody to be in, basically. And I think that it's not productive. Like, if that first option to Brandon off the curl isn't there, then I need to sort of get into some sort of pick and roll action, maybe get to Scottie in the post. Like, there should be other options offensively. And yes, it is great, and he is our toughest shot maker, but we're also giving him the toughest shots possible by sort of the way they're running it. So those are things to be adjusted. And that's not just on Darko. I think that's on the players as well. Like, it feels like IQ calls Brandon's number every time. Like, and again, like that's fair. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's fair, but yeah, like you don't have to, you just don't have to, right? So yeah, our half-court offense is so hard to watch. No, I don't really agree with that. I think it's like crunch time. Like, they've made a lot of mistakes, and I think I want to credit the Lakers defense as well. I think over the course of the game, our half-court offense is actually quite nice. Like, we move the ball really well. We definitely are one of the best passing teams in the NBA. Guys move, cut, space. The Raptors are hitting their threes tonight as well. So, like, I don't know. I didn't really see the half-court offense as like a grind. Like, trust me, I've seen some pretty bad half-court Raptors offenses. Like, you can look at every Nick Nurse offense outside the championship year. Like, every one of those was bad half-court offense. Like, ISO, pick and roll, that's it, right? Like, no, I don't think that's fair to say that about the Raptors as a whole. Crunch time, it was difficult, and that's where they need to improve. There's no doubt about that. What else, man? Walter should have been in the game late instead of Shed. Honestly, I think that's one of the regrets of this game too. I know Darko has preferred usually to close with Jamal. Again, like, no RJ means that someone else has to come in and close, and Jamal has sort of typically gotten that call, even though Jacoby's getting the call to start. But yeah, like, honestly, the way Jacoby was playing tonight, like, he played really well, especially in the third quarter. I thought he was building momentum. He was knocking down corner threes, getting in for cuts and dunks. Defensively, like, he's right there with Jamal in terms of like what he can do. So yeah, like, I think that's probably one of the more regrets, because I think the thing is, Jacoby does more. Well, does he do more of the offensive than Jamal? I guess Jamal gives you another guy who can touch the paint and then spray out, but yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I thought Jacoby played well enough to close this game, so I was also a little intrigued that he didn't get a chance to close. I would not have minded a chance to see Jacoby close the game. He deserved it. He really deserved it. Um, yeah. Another thing too, yeah. So 2 of the last 3 offensive possessions were awful. Late clock heat by Ingram and not getting a 2-for-1. Darko should have used the timeout with 41 seconds left. This is the other thing too. It's become really popular in the league to go no timeout in crunch time. And I might just be old school, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I know again, like I know they went no timeout when Brandon hit the game winner on Pascal, but like I think there's like lots of good uses for the timeout. Number one, like guys look tired, right? Darko, for example, he had 3 timeouts. He usually manages to have 3 timeouts, into the fourth quarter, right? Which is kind of the ideal. And then typically what you see is coaches will do is they'll hold it until closer to that 3-minute mark, because after that point it's use it or lose it. Under 3 minutes, you lose the timeout. So you see a ton of timeouts called basically with like 3 minutes, between 3 and 4 minutes. I think Darko called his timeout like 5 minutes, maybe 5.5 minutes. And that was his use it or lose it timeout. And so it did go for a longer rhythm than usual. Now, granted, the Raptors were doing okay, but I think it is called for, especially if the Raptors are stuck doing stagnant sort of offensive sets, where I wouldn't mind for the Raptors to call timeout and draw something up. This is the thing. I think it's also dependent on the coach. And I think for Darko, he's got to give himself, he's maybe a little bit too humble in this sense. Like, the Raptors have one of the best, points per possession out of timeouts. It's not like Darko doesn't drop good sets. He drops up good sets all the time. And I think to orchestrate a little bit more movement, even if it's just in this instance where the Raptors in the last couple games, when you look at 2 of the last 3 losses, this one and Charlotte, both games the Raptors had some really questionable, late game offense decisions. Call that timeout if you see nothing's initiating. Or even this, right? Okay, maybe the first play is to give Brandon that ball coming off the curl like I had to keep describing. Well, that doesn't materialize after like 5-6 seconds. Call that timeout and then draw something up. You know what I mean? So, like, the Raptors ended this game with 2 timeouts in their pocket. Like, what was that for, right? What were we saving those for, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. And especially for a 2-for-1 late in the game, I'm also, again, like, this is just a personal preference, but I prefer to get 1 good shot late game rather than 2 quick ones. 2-for-1 rest of the game I'm fine with, but late game I feel like momentum is so important, execution and detail is more important. So I'll take the more higher percentage single shot than the lower percentage 2 shots. But yeah, like I wouldn't have minded the timeout there. Again, like I think the Raptors have a lot to improve on late game. Like, this is not just from the players, but like from Darko as well. You know what I mean? Like there's lots to sort of be there. On the other end, some positivity. Scottie being the one to end the 10-point streak and still losing because LeBron is kind of romantic, honestly. I mean, I was funny. I was talking with friend of the program, Liban Osman, aka the franchise, before the game. We're getting some food around the arena, and we're like, do you still hate LeBron? And I'm like, not really. Like, I don't hate him. I think honestly 2019 really changed a lot for us in terms of, like, obviously LeBron's like the biggest antagonist the Raptors ever had, right? You look at the 3 straight playoff runs where the Raptors got bounced by LeBron. How disrespectful some of those runs were. It's not just enough to lose, but the Raptors get swept. But the Raptors get swept as the higher seed. The Raptors get swept in every way possible, on buzzer beaters, on LeBron taking fadeaways for practice, LeBron running the same play 12 straight times and scoring every single option out of those. It's LeBron being up like 150 basically at halftime every single game. LeBron sipping the beer, LeBron spinning the ball in Serge's face. Like, there's just so many moments that I'm just like, you know what? I'm so happy 2019 happened, because it just allowed me to sort of live with that, and now I can kind of laugh at those things and be like, you know what, that was it hurt in the moment, but it's pretty credible that happened with the Raptors as the backdrop. I mean, what I forget? LeBron literally pulling Norman Powell and putting him on the other side of the floor because the Raptors had misinterpreted the Raptors play. So LeBron corrected the Raptors on running the right play, and the Raptors, couldn't score on that anyway. Like, CJ Miles guarding Kevin Love. Like, there's all these memories, but like, I'm thinking about when LeBron is retired and they do like the Last Dance for LeBron, type of documentary where they go through the career. Like, I would love to see that one episode where it's about the Raptors and what he did to the Raptors, because it's crazy. And that's not even to mention what LeBron did to the Raptors before that, because I think LeBron's like first 50-point game, I think, was against the Raptors, where it was him versus Chris Bosh, I think like Chris Bosh's girlfriend was sitting courtside and chirping LeBron, and LeBron legit like started going off, and then he kept pointing at her, being like, "This is your fault." Like, dog, this, and that was like 2008. That's probably when this 1,297 game streak of 10 plus points started. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so he's been doing this for a long time, and yeah, I mean, even recently when I think back to some of the games, like that game where Westbrook hit that three, LeBron hit some ridiculous threes down the stretch to sort of come back. The Raptors should have won that one, they couldn't. This one, the Raptors should have won this one, they couldn't. They literally held LeBron to 8 points, his worst game scoring wise in 15 years, and he still gets the game winning assist. Like, it's incredible. I don't know what to say. It actually is incredible, man. It's incredible, man. And I know people like still hate LeBron. I get it. Like there are wounds that he inflicted that will never heal. But at a certain point, you got to step back and it's like, you know what, man? This is like genuinely like number 1 or number 2 best player ever, man. And even today, watching, the warm up, everyone gathered around, like the amount of fans. There must have been like 10 sections full of Laker fans, all gathered around early, like 6:30. LeBron started shooting. Like that's exactly when the doors open. There people were lining up for like hours before the game just so they can get in as early as possible so they can see LeBron warm up, because this is possibly his last game in Toronto. And I get annoyed too when I see Scotiabank Arena bombarded by these visiting fans. It happens when Raptors play LeBron. It happens when the Raptors play the Warriors with Steph. Sometimes it happens to a small degree with the Celtics, which is regrettable, but it's still like freaking 90-10 in terms of, it's all like 90% Raptor fans, 10% Celtics fans. When it's the Warriors, it's probably like 75-25. With the Lakers fans, it was legit like 60-40 in there today. And part of that is maybe it's just like, this might be the last time you get to physically see LeBron in Toronto, and the excitement watching him before the game just warm up was kind of nuts, But also, it made me kind of sad because I was like, yo, this is the guy who did all this against Toronto, like I described. I remember like watching every single one of these games, living and dying. That's probably when I started doing React Pods. Like I started doing this like 2016, 2017 during the playoffs. I think 2016 during the playoffs, maybe 2017. But like, yeah, those were like prime LeBronto years. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, that's the guy that was doing all that to Toronto. So it's like tattooed into my brain. It's like scarred into my brain how good he was. And I'm watching the warm-up, and I'm like, yeah, I think LeBron's going to struggle to have 10 points again because he was shooting. I'm not even kidding. LeBron was shooting like 25% in warm-ups. Like, I'm talking wide open corner threes. He didn't even shoot any contested shots. It was all long mid-range and then threes and then free throws. He was bricking, I swear, like 3 in every 4 shots. It was unbelievable to watch. Like, that's LeBron, you know what I mean? I know LeBron can sometimes be an questionable outside shooter, but not really, man. Like, it's still a great. It's literally the all-time leading scorer, and I'm watching him warm up, and I'm like, damn. And then he does the dunk at the end, which was fun. It was like right in front of me, so I was like, wow, LeBron gets a dunk. That's cool. Like, LeBron's head's not even close to the rim no more. I was like, damn, like the age and the back and whatever you want to call it, but at least in this given moment, at this day in particular, December 4th, 2025. Where, by the way, the Raptors, shouts to the arena staffing crew, I think they trolled LeBron because they weren't playing Drake at all in the warm-ups. I was there for like at least an hour before LeBron came out. And then as soon as LeBron came out, they played like 5 Drake songs in a row. So that was kind of funny too. Oh yeah, by the way, LeBron also beating, the Raptors one game, and he yelled at Drake in the tunnel. This is back when they were BFFs, and being like, yo, margaritas on me tonight. Like just crazy, right? Lots of moments, but like watching this player at this given moment where he's just not able to do it today, I'm just like, wow. Like it kind of made me think about just like, I spent my entire basketball fandom watching LeBron, and I'm not as a fan, I'm never rooting for LeBron like that, but you got to appreciate basketball greatness. And I'm watching and I'm like, all these people are here, like maybe potentially seeing him for the last time. Like it made me almost a little emotional, just like realizing that we're at the end of something, and of course we know we're at the end of something. This is year 23. He's 41 years old, but also, I mean, this is a good time to show this video because I just thought this was very funny. Bro, this can't be Toronto right now. You see? Yeah, he's shaking his head because he bricked that shot too, I know. But yeah, there were these 2 fans courtside, again, watching LeBron warm up. One guy's wearing a goat head. I didn't know you could bring full-on masks to the game, so credit to this guy for sneaking in. But this guy got a full goat head. And the next guy beside him is also wearing a LeBron jersey, holding up a sign that says LeBronto Forever with LeBron inside of the Toronto Raptors logo. Like, I mean, I know we have like a huge bandwagon fan base. I know that we're very international, and a lot of people are, like obviously like me who immigrated to the country and whatever. But it was still kind of like, damn, bro, how many Laker fans are in here? Like, you would argue, honestly, like, I'm not trying to say this disparagingly. Like, I understand objectively, like, LeBron is more important to the NBA history. I mean, like, I'm not even trying to be rude. LeBron's probably bigger than the Raptors franchise, okay? And I'm not. That's not me trying to disparage. I love the Raptors, but it was still nasty to watch this, man. and yes, I did post this video, and everybody was just flaming this guy. Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. There was like lots of moments. Like, I was standing beside these two Laker fans who bought courtside tickets, and as LeBron was shooting the ball, like they were both like shooting alongside of LeBron. So like kind of like that Andre Drummond meme from back in the day, where when LeBron was posting up, Drummond was pretending like the fans were just on the courts. Like, I can't honestly, like, it was a wild scene. And of course, anytime LeBron scored, there was like a huge cheer. They only scored 4 times, but still, like, it was just huge cheers, man. Yeah. So, big shots to, honestly, like, even me as a LeBron hater, like, I was still very touched by the game. You have to respect greatness. Bobby says, please get us a center. Robert Williams, Dayton Sharp, that means Dayron Sharp. Even Bismack Biyombo, someone please. This is giving me Thad Young flashbacks. Yeah, I mean, it was really small. I think again, to start the fourth quarter, maybe the Raptors could have played different lineups. I mean, they could have just played Mamu and CMB together. The two of them aren't guaranteed to rebound the ball either, but you still would have more size. But the Raptors gave up 6 offensive rebounds to start the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and this is after Reaves played the whole third quarter. He finally has to sit. And the Raptors have a chance to sort of, again, like, eat back into the game and maybe take the lead. And the Raptors were getting stop after stop after stop, but they just couldn't get rebounds. And this is even against an elite rebounding team. Like, we're talking about, like, Jackson Hayes, Adi Thero, like, Jake LaRavia. Like, these guys killing the Raptors on the glass, man. It ended up being even. Like, both teams got 14 offensive rebounds, but I just even just visually, like, the Raptors just look small. They're kind of smaller on almost every game, especially in the second unit. So yes, definitely got a backup center for the team would be great. Come on, Bob, get to work. They had 41 seconds left in the tie game. You absolutely need to get 2 shots there. It egregious to take so long to get a shot. Lakers got the final shot. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Again, I think I know there's a lot of anger and annoyance. I just don't know if that's like particularly productive in this specific sense, because we know the Raptors are a young team and we know the Lakers are a veteran team. Like, there's naturally going to be differences in sort of how the two teams execute. I think for a young team, like, they need to understand and learn and how to and go through these moments. I think that applies to everybody. Again, like Darko, the point guards, Brandon, basically everyone besides Scottie. Like, everyone really need these type of moments. And again, like, that's why I'm excited for the cup, because like, you got must-win games, like must win, and you're probably going to come down close. The team's probably not going to give up. So like, you need to be able to execute, not just in terms of physicality, but in terms of your smarts. Like, you need to make the right plays. That's what wins games, man. And the Raptors are now at the point where they can compete every night, which is great, awesome to see. Now they need to actually compete and outthink and make less mistakes than the opponent, and that's the hard part. That's the really hard part. What else, man? CMB is gonna be so good. Yeah, CMB was awesome in the first quarter, first half, really. The physicality, the fact that he's like willingly popping up for threes now, rolling to the basket, even the zip pass. Like, there's one pass that he made where he set the screen, he like slipped out of it, got the pass on the roll. The Lakers rotated to him to cut him off from the basket, and he like instantly whipped the pass, like cross court, LeBron style, basically. Instantly whipped the pass cross court to Jacoby Walter in the corner, hit him right in the shooting pocket, and he knocked down the three. Like, the zip and the read and the movement, all of that was really good. Like, watching CMB tonight was awesome. Again, he got the block, he got the strip. He had plays where he's one-on-one against like Reaves. He was able to stop him a couple of times too. Like, he was genuinely one of the Raptors' best players tonight. And this is a rookie playing in his, this is like week 6 of his professional career. You know what I mean? And what did he do tonight? He blocked LeBron. Like that's crazy. Like that's actually really crazy. And honestly, similar to that, just honestly excited for Scottie's growth. He's been so consistent, and it feels like he's taking a step. Absolutely, man. Scottie has been. Look, it's not like we've never seen Scottie have 23, 11, and 9, but the impact, the focus, the fact that he's still being himself, right? Where like, he still had that play where he looked back, waited, and then paused to go for the dunk. That's one of his favorites. So he's still having fun, but the focus and the defense, the way he's able to switch, and like some of those stuff that's just like that's what Draymond does. Like that's one of the best defenders in the league do, where they read that, okay, there's a pick and roll coming, someone else is going to come in to bring in the screen. I'm going to float and zone at the top, so I'm going to switch onto that guy. That guy's going to hopefully, my guy's going to be covered by whoever the person I just switched onto was. But like just like keep being in that pick and roll to like neutralize that play, or like his help defense, or even that block on LeBron at the end. I know LeBron old and stuff, but like again, he held LeBron to 4-17. LeBron shot. It's not like LeBron couldn't get 10 points because he never shot the ball. LeBron shot the ball 17 times. He only made 4. And the big reason is Scottie was all over him. Scottie's beating him for physicality battles up and down the floor. And then Scottie is, the way he's thinking the game on offense too, the way he's distributing. The fact that he's snapping streaks too. It's like, okay, 23 points is great, but when did you score those 23 points? And it's like important small moments where it's like, Lakers are, pulling away, and then Scottie hits a 3 to end the run. Like stuff like that, getting to the foul line. Like, you just can't say enough about him, man. I'm just like, I'm so proud of him. Like, I just like watching him and the player he's putting it together right now. And, like, this is like by far the best version of Scottie Barnes that we've had in 5 years of watching him. Then this is like the most unified everyone is on Scottie since like, his rookie year. I mean, there's literally nothing to complain about. He consistently goes into the game and he's either the best player on the court or the second best player on the court. It's amazing, man. Someone says stop talking crazy. We lost like 3 on a last second shot. People acting like they need to disband the team. Well, this is the thing. Like I sense this, right? I sense this like real sense of like expectations and goalposts being changed on the team. And it's suddenly not enough that because the Raptors had won 13 or 14, now it's not enough for the Raptors to compete and be a young team that plays good basketball but maybe makes mistakes. And now it's like we got to beat the great team and we got to win every night. The expectation to win every night, you got to manage that. You know what I mean? Like this game against the Lakers, it should have been 50-50. Like it really should be. Like just based on the quality of the teams, based on the experience difference. And it was 50-50. It was literally 50-50 at the end. So yeah, like yeah. So what else, man? What else we got here? Yak would have 10,000% made 10,000% made a difference. I mean, I think just defensively, well, he's definitely better than Sandro. Yeah, he probably would have made a difference for sure. Maybe I take back what I said earlier about him not making a difference, but it just felt like Reaves was doing anything he wanted, man. Bit of a coaching fail at the end there. So slow to adjust on Reaves. Bad timeout management down the stretch, especially with BI being off. I think it's important for everybody, even for Darko, to understand how to manage this. Like Raptors actually started the season really well in crunch time games, but it's like we beat the Nets in crunch time. We beat the Pacers, who at that point had 2 wins in crunch time. We beat like the Cavs, who are soft as hell in crunch time. Like, I'm not trying to take it away from them, but at the same time, it's like some of these teams weren't even fully formed yet. Like that doesn't mean the Raptors are great in crunch time. They just did well in crunch time. I think that there's still lots of steps to improve, and that was one of the big concerns coming into the season. I remember when I was previewing the season, one of the things I was looking at was, okay, how is this team going to improve how they do in crunch time? And I know previous seasons they didn't need to do that because they were tanking, but you don't just that's probably the hardest thing. Like you could definitely get a good scheme, good basis of how you want to play, good identity, and the Raptors have done that, so credit to them for that. But the hardest part is probably how are you going to execute in crunch time, man. We've even seen really good Raptors teams in previous years not be good in the crunch, you know what I mean? So yeah, like you need to sort of figure some of this stuff out, and a lot of it you need to learn by trial by fire. So I was happy how they closed out the Blazers game. I didn't like how they closed out the last Hornets game. Now they didn't close out the game well enough tonight. They made too many mistakes, and now they got a chance to play what is likely going to be another tight game tomorrow. And I want to see how the Raptors adjust to sort of the first 2 games where it both came down to the buzzer against the Hornets, right? The Hornets have been a tough matchup for the Raptors, regardless of how many wins they have. So, yeah, I love Darko, but he needs to be better at end of games, holding on to timeouts, weird lineup choices, stagnant offense, going super small when needed size. Just need to be better. I agree. I agree. Like, like Bobby's been, or Darko's been doing a great job on the season overall. Like, I'm happy, but you can be happy with the guys still want better. You know what I mean? And I think that these small details, they start to matter. Like, the last couple seasons, it didn't matter. It really does matter right now. So, what else we got here? What's my take on Bobby not bothering to get a backup 5 despite it being a glaring hole in the lineup for the quarter? I do think that Bobby really likes playing 5 out, and I think that the structure of the team is kind of built in that sort of type of way. Obviously, CMB and Mamu as backup options kind of give you that option, but I still think that you need to make up for that size somewhere else. And yeah, it becomes this like overall theme that we keep talking about game after game, right? Like, and every time the Raptors lose, even in the close games when they're competing, you still notice sort of how they get pushed out physicality-wise, especially when there's Jakob on the floor. And by the way, coming into the season, I understand, okay, they probably didn't think Jakob was going to have to only play one out of 2 back-to-backs. You probably didn't think you have to do the Kawhi Leonard load management plan on Jakob. But now that you know that you have to do this, then it makes the need for a backup center even more important, right? It's like, okay, at least I can understand coming into the season, okay, we expect Jakob to play 70-plus games. He's not going to play 70-plus games at this rate. So at this point, we need to then bring in extra depth at the center position, just so that there's not so much of a drop-off. What do the Raptors need to do to ensure a win over the Hornets tomorrow? Score more points than them? I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Definitely need to do a better job matching the physicality first and foremost, though, and not be too stagnant. And of course, like the Collin Sexton thing, they got to do something about Collin Sexton. I wish CMB got a longer leash. Feel like the Raptors trying to balance out winning and development. At some point, they got to decide what the goal of the season is. I understand this and I hear it, but I do think that they're going to try to do both. And if that means that some games they develop but lose, and some games they don't develop and win, I'm okay with it. On the whole, like the one thing I do really trust Darko with is how he's developing the players. Like, I thought CMB should have played more minutes. Probably regrettably, he probably should have started the fourth quarter and played like probably 4 more minutes. Maybe he wins a couple of those key rebounds and went the Lakers' way. There's one play where the Raptors cost 3 stops for the Lakers. They kept getting the rebound and then they knocked down a corner 3. It's like, that shit's backbreaking, man. So we're not even talking about a lot of things here, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's definitely a lot of questions taken. I appreciate you guys. Someone stuck into the Raptors to be trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah, like if the Bucks want to take, well, first off, it seems like the Bucks are gonna play ball and actually work with Giannis on going to the team that Giannis wants to go to. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, like if I don't know, the Raptors definitely don't have the best package for Giannis. Like Giannis would have to say, "I want to go to Toronto, nowhere else," which is not gonna happen. And what's our best package? Like, you're not getting Scottie for Giannis. Like, that's actually not happening anymore, right? So you're definitely not getting that on the table. I don't think the Bucks should be really in a position to try to get Brandon Ingram, so that's not on the table either. So it's like, would you take CMB, RJ, IQ and some picks for Giannis? I mean, from the Toronto side, yes, you do it because at that price, you're getting a top 5 player in the NBA in his prime. But again, like I don't think this happens at all because I think other teams can A, beat that package, and B, Giannis I don't think is specifically like I need to go to Toronto. Like that's not happening. Unfortunately, we've danced this dance, we flirted, you know what I mean? Like I'm guilty of this too as a podcaster and content creator. We've talked about the possibility. Honestly, I've heard things over the years that were like, wow, okay, there's some maybe real ties connecting Giannis's interest to Toronto, but I don't think that's the case anymore. And I really do think that any small glint of chance you had with that walked out the door when Masai was let go. Which, by the way, Raptors never needed to let go of Masai. You could have just kept him around. But nevertheless, I think Bobby's in charge now. And Bobby's on again. Like, I know people want Bobby to get a backup center, which is fair. Like, obviously this is not a perfect team. Certainly keep looking to improve. But I think they've been really successful so far, and they're off to a really good start. So, yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's wrap up the show and hand out some awards. By the way, tomorrow we will be back in the morning to sort of talk more about the Raptors and of course crack open a fresh NBA 6-pack with your boy Alex Wong and whatever chaotic topics he comes up with. But to wrap up this one, your 3 stars from tonight. Scottie Barnes, your first star. Absolutely. I mean, he was sensational. I can't say this enough. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 2 threes, 5 or 6 from the foul line, 8 of 16 from the field. Like, all of it was really good. Second star, man, I'm going to give the second star to Jacoby. Jacoby, I thought, played really well. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. It's weird to give it to him because obviously he was guarding Reaves, who had 44. But I don't know. A lot of people could have guarded Reaves tonight. You could have put OG on Reaves tonight. He probably still had 44. Like, he was so good. And then your third star, I'll give it to Collin Murray-Boyles. I thought Grady Dick actually had a nice stint too. It was great to see him knock down a couple threes and make a couple plays. But yeah, CMB was really fun off the bench. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block. I wish those guys got more time to sort of play, actually. But alas, it is what it is. Your Gerald Henderson Award winner. I don't even know, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's not fair to give it to Austin Reaves, really. You know what? Out of all disrespect, I've given LeBron a lot of love on this pod. LeBron James, welcome to the Gerald Henderson Award, buddy. That was a great pass you made at the end. You had a terrible game, but you made a great pass at the end. LeBron James, welcome to the Gerald Henderson Award. So that's it. Thanks, sir, for listening. I appreciate it. Big thanks to Krem. Actually, one last thing before we go, too. I promised my friend Liban Osman, that I would show this video. So, for people who really listen to all the little details of the show, you might have heard me talk about one of the halftime acts for the Raptors, which is Six Tricks. They come out and do acrobatics, and I've been talking about how they transition from being like an acrobatic troupe to being a trampoline dunking act. And in the previous games that I've been to, like, they just kept bricking dunks, which I think if people have also gone to the game and seen this, because they don't broadcast this, but yeah. But in any case, like, like they do this act, but for some reason they were just breaking a lot of dunks. I got them a lot of credit. They won 5 of 5 on dunks today, so I had nothing to show you there. But I was taking video of the Six Tricks, and there was one misplay, and Liban was like, "You have to play. You have to promise me to play this on the show." So I will just play this. Here you go.
Ain't no way.
So, I guess for the podcast audience, there's 6 of them. So they've turned into 3 pairs, and there's like a boost, and then they do a flip. So the first 2 pairs are successfully able to sort of flip their partner, but the last pairing, unfortunately, if you look on the left side, well,
ain't no way.
He comically just they tried it, and yeah, that wasn't great. But ultimately, big shouts to Six Tricks. I thought they actually improved a lot. I actually improved. I actually thought that it was great that they were able to land all their dunks today. So that's it, Lee Man. Promise delivered. Promise made to you. I appreciate you guys. Oh, hold on. We have, what did Krem add here too? Hold on. Last time LeBron scored less than 10 points. Bronny was 2 years old. Cooper Flagg was 15 days old. George W. Bush was president. My goodness, man. Yo, that's crazy. There's actually a lot of good stuff from Krem. Hold on, sorry. Before we go, actually, a lot of good reporting here. Quote unquote, JJ Redick on LeBron sacrificing the streak for the win. Quote, the basketball gods, if you do it the right way, tends to reward you. Thought that was really nice. LeBron lost the streak in the most LeBron way possible. Yeah, but wow. The Bronny was 2 and Cooper Flagg was 15 days old. Does this mean that the streak is 18 years old? Like, what was the actual game itself where LeBron scored less than 10 points? Can we actually find that one, Krem, as well? But I'll do some research on that too. But of course, he also added a photo of the last time LeBron scored less than 10 points. Let me see this photo. Okay, here we go. So this photo, wow, incredible stuff. But so last time LeBron scored less than 10 points, KD was on the Texas Longhorns playing in college. Steph Curry was at Davidson, probably before his Cinderella run. Kenyon Martin and AI, not artificial intelligence, but Allen Iverson and Kenyon Martin. Oh, that's not Kenyon Martin. That's J.R. Smith. No, my bad. Yeah, they were on the Nuggets. That was actually a really fun Nuggets team, man. That was a classic Nuggets era. AI with with Carmelo. They were ultimately also had Billups at that point. I think they replaced AI with Billups, but yeah, that was a really fun era. Who is this? Is that Eric Gordon and Derrick Rose? Is that in college? Is this when Eric Gordon dropped 40 points on Michael Jordan's Suns? That was pretty funny, honestly. That's an all-time graphic, too. If you look up Eric Gordon versus Michael Jordan's kids, like the stat line was brought up, and it was like Michael Jordan's kids had like 5 points, and Eric Gordon had like 50 or something. James Harden was at Arizona. He had no beard. Who is 24 here, man? Who is this? Is that Kyrie? Oh, my God. Kyrie was still in high school. Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady were with the Rockets. Blake Griffin was still playing in college. Who is that? JJ Redick on the Magic? My goodness. Al Horford and Joakim Noah winning back-to-back titles with Florida in college. Nate Robinson and Jamal Crawford. Not on NBA TV. No, they're on the New York Knicks. Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge. Wow. And then Dwayne Wade and... Wait, hold on. Is that Dwayne Wade? No, that's Gary Payton. Is that Shaq and Gary Payton for the Heat? Wow, this must have been 2006 then. So, wow, so last time LeBron James scored just 8 points, it was in a 95-86 Cleveland win against the Milwaukee Bucks in January of his 4th season. So his 4th season, at that point, it would be 2006. Wow, that's incredible. That's pretty incredible stuff. So, yeah. Well, everything has to come to an end, man. Everything has to come to an end. So, also, someone did add, the streak is fake, by the way. Bron scored less than 10 in the 2011 finals. That's right. JJ Barea and Scottie Barnes are the last 2 players to hold LeBron under 10 points. Incredible list. So, yeah, just pretty incredible, man. It's, what a time. What a time. So, we snapped the streak, but at what cost? Honestly, like, I thought Scottie just played great defense on LeBron, like, just in general. He should really deserve a lot of credit for this. All the focus is going to be on LeBron, but there's going to be a trivia question one day, and I think Scottie's going to be a great answer for that. So, literally in Scottie's own words, he said as many times, Scottie said, like, LeBron's the GOAT, like, of all time, like, literally the GOAT, like, in all seriousness, which is not a surprise. Like Scottie wasn't even born when LeBron probably started the streak. Well, no, that's not true. Scottie was born, but he's probably like a child. But yeah, like he did something amazing today. And I think that, yes, the Raptors lost, but I think that's so worth celebrating. So thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate you guys. Leave a like on the stream on your way out. Appreciate you guys. Also, thank you all for sending in the Spotify Raps playlists. It was very, very, very incredible to see, and very humbling, honestly, to see how much time people had spent with the show. I know for a lot of people, they split platforms as well. Some people were like, hey, the numbers here say 10,000 minutes, but there's also more minutes I spent on YouTube in addition to Spotify. And someone said that they listen to Spotify and Apple, which was crazy. All of it was really humbling. But we are going to send out, as we promised, we're going to send out gift packages to the top 3 screen grabs that we got, and the top one, I couldn't believe this. Shouts to Scottie Raptors on Instagram, sent in a graphic where they said they listened to 28,757 minutes of the Hello and Welcome podcast this year on Spotify. So yeah, I mean that's some incredible stuff. So I appreciate you guys, but no, we got a lot of we got a lot of love. You know what I mean? We got a lot of love, and I appreciate that so much. Even walking around the arena to the last couple games, like. Real Raptor fans are back in the building because people just keep coming up and saying hi and being appreciative of the content and showing a lot of love. Like it was, I don't know. It's always very, very nice to sort of see like the efforts in the show and sort of the audience that we built over like almost a decade now, come to this fruition. Of course, we're still trying to add new things and try to bring new ways to sort of bring the content to you. But I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you, everyone. Well, people also sent in like YouTube raps. I didn't even know that was a thing, but people were like, yeah, we watched 313 Hello and Welcome YouTube videos this year. I'm like, did we even make 300 YouTube videos? That'd be kind of incredible. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys so much. So anyway, thank you. Leave a like, leave a comment. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow when the Raptors. Well, actually, we'll be back tomorrow afternoon or in the morning when we do the 6-pack. But we'll be back tomorrow after the game 2 when the Raptors play the Hornets for the 3rd time in like 3 weeks. So see you guys then.